Hello, welcome to Little Worship Company Bible Time. My name's Jo and I'm going to read a Bible story based on the book of Acts 2. It's called The Church is Born. Shall we take a look in the bag to see what mystery clue we've got to help us with our story today? Oh look, a hat with fire on it. The city of Jerusalem was bustling with excitement. It was festival time and people from all over the world had come to God's holy city to celebrate. Jesus' disciples were also in Jerusalem. They were waiting. What they were waiting for, they weren't entirely sure. Jesus had told them that he was going to send them a gift and that they should wait for it there. "You will be baptized with the Holy Spirit," he'd said, smiling. And then he was taken up into heaven. On the first day of the festival, the day of Pentecost, the disciples were praying in the temple. Suddenly, a loud, deafening noise like a mighty wind roared through the room. Ah! Oh! The disciples clapped their hands to their ears, stunned and amazed. But before they could work out what was going on, what was that? They couldn't believe their eyes. In front of them, something like fire appeared from nowhere and then rested on their heads. Then they opened their mouths to speak, but strange words tumbled out of their mouths, a language they'd never even heard of before, let alone spoken, and they couldn't stop it from coming. The disciples looked at each other in confusion. What was going on?
Wow,
Just at that moment, an Egyptian was walking past on his way to worship God. Suddenly, he stopped. Someone was speaking in his own language. That's odd, he thought. You don't meet many people here who speak Egyptian. He looked at the disciples, rough, working men from the countryside, especially not their sort. A woman from Crete came and stood beside him. She stared at the disciples, open-mouthed. One of them was speaking her language too. Wonderful words of God's great love for the world and his precious son, Jesus.
مدهش، أستطيع التحدث باللغة العربية.
Then another person stopped, and another. Before long, a huge crowd of people from every corner of the earth was standing by the disciples, listening in amazement. Peter looked out at the crowd. Something was alive in his heart. He felt strong and brave. He felt so much love for God and love for the people around him. He knew that they needed to know all about what God had done for them. Peter took a deep breath. He didn't have a fancy speech prepared, but God's Holy Spirit was with him. The words poured out of him like rain from the sky. He told the crowds all about Jesus, how he had died, but how God had raised him back again to life, and how he'd seen it with his own eyes, and how Jesus was the one they needed to follow. The people were stunned. "What should we do?" they asked Peter. "Turn back to God," he said. "Be baptized. Choose to live Jesus' way, and you'll receive God's gift, the Holy Spirit." There was a river nearby. One by one, the people waded into the water to be baptized. 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, and still they kept coming. In all, 3,000 people said yes to Jesus that day. 3,000 people went away praising God and celebrating all that he had done for them. Wow! Can you imagine all those people choosing to follow Jesus? And on this occasion, it was the disciples that led them to God. What a tremendous celebration on the day the church was born. Thank you for watching Little Worship Company Bible Time. See you again next time. And remember, the Holy Spirit is God's gift who will always help and comfort us. To be the first to watch Little Worship Company Bible Time stories, you can subscribe here, or you can click here or here to watch more fun and inspiring videos.